All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Remarkable Coach podcast. As always, I'm your host, Michael Pacheco. And today with me, I have Honoree Corder. Honoree is a publishing strategist who has written more than 50 books. We're going to circle back to that one. Um, she helps aspiring authors to write, publish, and monetize their books, and she's fun. Honoree, welcome to the Remarkable Coach.
Ah, that's the best part. And she's fun. Yes, I'm so delighted to be with you. Thank you for having me.
50 books. Most people
Yeah.
are lucky if they can get one book written in a lifetime.
Yeah.
How did you manage 50? 50, not one, not 15, and not 15, 50.
50. I don't leave home very often. Stay
Huh?
home. You know what? That's actually not the truth. The truth is I write two Pomodoros every day.
Huh?
So Pomodoro, the Pomodoro technique, doing anything for 25 minutes. And so I do two Pomodoros in the morning, almost first thing, but not first thing because it's easier if I'm caffeinated.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So, and I've been doing that for, this is my 19th year.
That's amazing. That's like what is it? The 10-mile march, I think it's called. Are you familiar with the 10-mile march?
Not, no.
I think this is from the book Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Okay. So I read that book, so I should know about it.
Well, I think it's from that, but I could be wrong. I could be
Okay.
mixing up my books. It's possible. I've been
It's
wrong.
possible.
It's happened.
It's happened once or twice. I know.
My wife has assured me of that.
Yeah.
The idea with the 10-mile march is that so there were these two teams, and I'm going to butcher this story, but the
Okay.
basic idea, I hope, if I get it right, is that two teams went to Antarctica and they wanted to get to the middle of the South Pole. And one team would march, if the weather was good, they would go for 50 miles in one day, and they would go as far as they could in one day. And if the weather was bad, they would just hunker down and wait out the storm.
Right.
The other team did 10 miles a day. It was their 10-mile march. And regardless of the weather, good or bad, every day they would do 10 miles. Every day they would do two Pomodoros. And the team that, of course, made it to the South Pole was the one that did the 10-mile march and not the one that avoided the bad weather and then just went into exhaustion in the good weather.
Right.
Remind me of that.
Yeah, I think that it is very tempting for people to think, I want to do the thing, whatever the thing is, in this case, write a book.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to wait until I can take a sabbatical or I can have a full day to write. And that never happens. I've never had a full day to write ever. Like, even when I've had a full day to write, oh no, something happens. And so I just have found that the 10-mile march, my version of that is writing every day, 5 or 6 days a week,
Yeah.
pretty consistently for a lot of years.
I love it. I love it. It's simple and it works. So normally I start out this podcast by inviting our guests to tell us a little bit more about themselves in their own words. So if you would, obviously I gave you the intro and the short bio, but if you would just tell us a little bit more about yourself in your own words and kind of why it is you do what you do.
Yep. So I currently am an author and I write books and I help professionals and entrepreneurs to write, publish, and monetize their books, as you said. And why I do that is because I was given the advice when I was just a coach and a speaker, right? So that was what was said to me. Oh, you're a coach and a speaker. Everyone's a coach and a speaker. You must write a book. And so I took that advice and I did not know it would change the course of my life and that it would allow me to change the course of the lives of those who I am fortunate enough to help through the process.
Hmm.
So I'm passionate about it because I have a particular number of books that I've written and a number of books that I've sold. So I have some street cred, as it were. And I have a passion for helping people to not just publish a book, because that's a big deal.
Hmm.
However, there's a lot of advice out there, and most of it is good. A lot of it is sketchy or questionable, right? Depending on who's delivering it. And so there are a lot of people that publish books and then they're disappointed. They're disappointed because their book doesn't sell, it doesn't bring them new clients or customers. It just becomes this thing that they did once. There's a box of books in the garage collecting dust, and they're kind of bummed out about it. And so I used to just tell people to write and publish their books. And then I realized that I could help them to get to the next level, which was having their book work hard on their behalf for a really long time, do some of the heavy lifting of marketing and client engagement and those sorts of things.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I do it because it's awesome. Books are awesome.
How much of that, I agree completely. Yeah, I'm a very avid reader. How much of that, the success of a book, how much of that is the marketing and how much of that is actually like taking the time to distill your ideas and write a good book? Because I think I'm in the coaching space, right? We at Boxer, we work with coaches, and I feel like for a lot of people that I speak with, writing a book is a checkbox that they want to tick off
Mm-hmm.
because it's a checkbox that they're supposed to tick off, right?
Right.
And I think there's probably a lot of books out there that are just these checkboxes that have been ticked off, and they're not particularly good, and they're not particularly well written. Where do you find the balance there between, I mean, for a book to be successful, how much of it is marketing versus how much of it is distilling those ideas well and writing a good book?
I think it's like asking what makes a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Is it the bread? Is it the peanut butter? Is it the jelly? But if you leave out any one of those things, it's not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it's not going to be as delicious. So it's really hard to say what's the most important. I think you can't effectively market a really bad book and expect it to do anything for you. You can't expect to write a great book and not market it. And so which comes first, the chicken or the egg? We don't know.
Sure.
Right. But I do think you're right. I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to write. Somebody said, you must write a book and I'm going to write a book and I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
And gosh, they're disappointed. I do think with some intention and purpose behind a book combined with a strong marketing plan, a book can surprise you with how awesome it can be for yourself and your business. Writing can help you to clarify your thoughts and your process. People reading your thoughts and your process will allow them to say, I kind of like that guy.
Hmm.
I think I want to talk to him some more. Right.
Hmm.
I never thought that authors were people you could talk to. It turns out they are, which is great. And so you want to take some time and get really clear on what it is that you want to say. And you also want to be thinking about how you can bake in some of the marketing into the contents of your book
Hmm.
so that when it's time for your book to get out into the world, it's ready.
Hmm.
So I released a book called You Must Market Your Book. And the first thing I do is say, do you have a quality book? Like, let's check the boxes. Did you write and publish your book in a weekend on Amazon in Kindle format only? Did you design your own cover in Word? Did you not have it edited? I mean, these are all amateur mistakes that a lot of people make, and I don't think that they're making them because they are unintelligent or have bad. Right? They're just told by a lot of people. I was in the audience at a conference where a publishing expert, air quotes for those just listening, was on stage and said, "You can outline and write your book over the weekend and publish it and be making money by Monday." Yes, you can. Please don't do that. Please don't go to all the trouble of getting your college education, putting in the years of getting experience, getting a coaching certification, right? Because when I was a coach, when I was first doing business and executive coaching, ICF was not a thing. This was 20 something years ago. Now, if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to get a government contract or be hired by a corporation, you need to have some letters behind you. Coaching is completely different. And so that's a process. You got to put your elbows into it, right? You got to put your back into it, right? You have to put in your time and your money. And so then why would you expect that something that you just do flippantly, quickly, without some checks and balances would work as hard for you as your credentials and your education and your experience? It just won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think, I mean, nobody nobody thinks that Amazon needs more, you know, half-baked ideas that were
No.
written in, on a Saturday evening.
Right. I would love, please, if someone can tell me how I can get 10-minute abs right after I eat a box of crumble cookies
Right.
and how I can write and publish a book in a weekend and not spend months writing, reviewing, double checking, finding all of the things. Like if someone figures out how to do that, I would love to know what it is, but I don't think so. So
Yeah.
it's worth, and also, by the way, you're going to love being an author, right? If you're listening and you're like, I don't know, I don't think it's worth it. I had a guy the other day who's like, I just want to start a mastermind. Books are dead. I'm like, oh, I
Did
think we're talking, buddy, because I have a book, but I don't know.
he actually said books are dead?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
Yes. Well, he was coming to me in the context of a course I have on creating a mastermind. And
Uh-huh.
so I said, oh, where are you? What are you interested in? Are you interested in writing a book? Oh no, books are dead. I just want to launch a mastermind. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. I wonder where he learned about you from, or, he didn't read a book, but maybe it was the second or third order effect from the many books that you've written, the authority that
Right.
you've built over time from publishing this content.
Yes. It was a referral from a fellow coach who said,
Right.
I know someone who has a course on that and you would love it.
Yeah.
That's how that happened. I'm not sure. It's okay. I was
Interesting. It's okay if you hate books, but they're not dead.
right. Yes.
Um, so 2 Pomodoros a day, surely, there's obviously a lot more to it than that. For someone who wants to write a book, right? Somebody, I think there's a lot of people, myself, who feel like, there's a book hidden inside somewhere, and you gotta yank that out. Where where does someone start?
Yeah, that's great. Let's do this for you right now. Okay. We're gonna do real-time coaching and pre-game on your book. So the first question you answer is what's in it for me? Tune into WIIFM, right? And say, what is it that I want from my book? And I am always recommending this is not the time to be like, I want world peace. I want to save the children. It's like, no, no, you want an Aston Martin, you want to, you want some solar panels. Like your wife wants a 15th anniversary skating rink to wear on her finger, right? Like you have some personal things that you want from it. It could be increased brand recognition, right? You want fame, fortune, or freedom, right?
Hmm.
One of those.
Hmm.
So it's really getting clear on what do you want the book to do for you? What is the job of the book?
Hmm.
That's the first thing. Then we can get into a little more of the give and the take of it, which is what do you want the reader to do
Hmm.
when they've read the book? So I'll use You Must Write a Book, my book, as an example. I want everyone who reads it to feel empowered and to take action on writing a book. So question number one is what do you want the reader to do? Question number two is what do you want the reader to not do?
Mm.
Okay. So I want you to gain pleasure and avoid pain. The pain I want you to avoid is I want you to not write a crappy book that does not work hard for you, that does not fulfill your vision, and that you're disappointed that you're like, yes, I went to Harvard Law and I wrote and published my book in a weekend. So now I'm ashamed of it because it's crappy, right? Because I didn't do all of the things, I didn't have it live to the quality with which my brand exists, those sorts of things. And then we get into the third question, which goes back to the original question zero, right? That you asked yourself, what do I want from the book?
Huh?
And so you want to bake that in to the book. And the third question is, what do you want the right reader to do? So if you're a coach and you're writing a book and you want more people to hire you as their coach, it would make sense. You would say, I want the right people to like me, to understand a little bit about me, my process, my sense of humor, whether I have one, I don't, right? And how else they could engage with me if they were interested. Now, I
Uh-huh.
think a book needs to be standalone. You can read You Must Write a Book and you can get the formula for
Sure.
writing and publishing and marketing with your book. I put that all in there. It's what I could give people without having a conversation.
Uh-huh.
But some people read that book and they go, she's fun, she's cool, she's an expert. How else can I work with her? So I have shameless self promotion for 10 seconds, a workbook that goes with it, and a course that goes with it.
Mhm.
And so for the right people, they go, I want to engage more. I'm going to get the workbook. I'm going to take the course, neither or both. Right.
Well,
And so once you answer all of those questions, then you can get into, well, what goes in the book, and you refer back to all of those questions. So if you
mhm.
want people to come to you as a coach, well, then what are you coaching about? What is the thing people are coming to you already? And you're asking yourself the questions they're asking. Well, how am I more time efficient? How can I make more money in less time? How can I stop being so stressed all the time? How can I grow my business or scale, or whatever your coaching process is? You're solving their problems in the pages of your book. You're helping them to avoid pain and gain pleasure. And in that whole process, you are endearing yourself to them, and they will want to know more about you. So very simply, that's where you start.
I love it. Yeah, it's interesting. I would have thought, not knowing anything about writing a book because I've never written one, I would have I would have sat down, opened up a Google document and started to make an outline of the chapters or something like that. But
Yes.
but thinking about like but what you're talking about really is, creating more of an intentional foundation underneath that, where you're talking about, kind of your why a little bit. What's in it for me? Why am I doing this? And you know, thinking more about the readers, the value that you're bringing to them. What's the purpose of the book? I think
Yeah.
that I can see how that would help keep the train on the rails, if that's the right analogy.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think a lot of people come up with a book title. They have a thing that they say, or they have an idea and they go, that's my book title. Is it? It probably isn't.
Is it though?
But is it though? But also that sitting down and writing an outline is like you saying to your wife, we're going on vacation, go pack. And she just starts throwing in like winter coats and swimsuits and flip flops and boots. And it's like, I don't know where we're going. We're going to take everything. When you don't have intention and purpose behind it, it's like, we're just going to get in the car and go somewhere. We're
Yeah,
just going to go to the airport and buy 2 tickets to the next location. It's like, well, you might be overdressed, you might be underdressed. Oops, right?
yeah,
It makes for a less than pleasurable, less than effective experience for the author and the reader. And I read an awful lot of those books that are just, I just wrote a book, I'm an author. And
hmm,
it's like, gosh, and there's no judgment because I'm a coach, right? So we live in the world of effective and ineffective, not good, bad, right, or wrong. But it's like, gosh, this could have been so much more effective. It could have done so much more for you and for the reader and your brand and your business. So just back up the truck, kids, take a minute, answer some questions, and get some guidance on your journey, just like you are wanting your clients to do with you.
yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that's, yeah, and that's not the kind of thing. I mean, I can only speak for myself. It's not the kind of thing that I would have thought to do again before writing a book. I probably would have just opened up a Google Doc and started, yeah, with the title of the book, or with, a bulleted point of outlines of the chapters or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and you're a smart guy. Like, here's the fun thing, right? Is that it's like, this is the logical thing that came to you, and you think, I'm a smart person. I'm in business. I can figure this out. Right. So it's not the most effective thing. It would have been effective. You probably have enough of a following and enough engagement that people would have bought the book. What I want the book to do for people is to be a best earning book, not a best selling book.
Uh-huh.
All best earning books are best selling books. Not all best selling books are best earning books. And I want it to work so that
Hmm.
people buy it and they go, I have to read it. I have to read it right now.
Hmm.
Raise your hand if you have more than 300 books in your Kindle that are unread, and another 300 books on your bookshelf that are unread. Also, keep your hands up if you bought a book today after swearing the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth is that you would not buy a book today.
I
Right?
always tell myself it could be drugs.
It could be drugs.
Could
Could
be
be
drug.
shoes. Could be shoes. Yes. So, but that's the whole thing is somebody is going to see your book and it needs to be compelling enough for them to say, I am going to forsake all the others who have come before you and have been patiently waiting, and I'm going to read this book and take action on it right now. And that is an interesting thought to have in advance of trying to put some words on that blank page.
Yeah, nice. I want to circle back to what you said about best earning versus best selling.
Yeah.
So how do you walk the line between shameless self-promotion and egregious self-promotion? I've read books that talented people have written, coaches, marketing agencies, you name it, consultants, and the book is littered with reminders reminders to go to their website and book a call and buy all this other stuff that we're selling. Where's the where's the
So
balance?
yeah, so I think if you have to ask, if you're looking at your content and you're going, is this too much? Then you probably have too much. It's like Coco Chanel said, get dressed and right before you walk out the door, take off one thing,
Hmm.
take off one accessory, not your shirt. Leave your shirt on, right? But take off one accessory. Um, I I always have in the front matter an invitation to join my email list in exchange for value in
Hmm.
case someone does not buy the book, but they do the look inside feature on a retail platform.
Nice.
I do provide book bonuses for most of the books, if not all of the books that I write, because I want the book to be high and tight, right? I want people to get what they came for, but I also want them to know there's other stuff if they want it,
Hmm.
and the bonuses are free.
Hmm.
I generally create additional products to go with the book. So a companion guide, planner, journal, something of that nature, and a mini course, something like that. And so those things are sprinkled throughout the book, but they are not every single page.
Hmm.
And then you want to go to, you know, I'm I'm a crazyauthor.com. I'm a crazyauthor.com, right? Like you don't want to just beat people over the head with it. And here's the thing, I think as coaches, specifically professionals as well, but coaches could focus on attracting, not recruiting.
Hmm.
I want to create an atmosphere of like, I want more of that. I want
Hmm.
more of that. What else?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I want the response to be, I was doing something with my mastermind a couple of years ago, and I said, "Would you guys think that that's interesting?" And one of the gals was like, "Take my money." Just like, I don't even know what it is. Take my money. And that's really what you want is you want people to be like, this is so good.
Totally.
And this is what I get in a book. What do
Yeah.
I get if I go to the next level? What do I
Right.
get if I go to the next level? Pleasantly surprise them with your awesomeness. Don't completely disappoint them with your overzealous, because they're not going to miss it. Like the people that are paying attention are going to be like, where? As a matter of fact, I just got a book. It's all the rage right now. It's by this guy, Rick Rubin, who's a musical guy.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing about him in the books. There's no bio, there's no acknowledgments, there's no author notes, there's like nothing. I'm like, where's all the stuff that goes in the book that tells me more about who he is? Fascinating. But as someone who's reading it, I'm just in the beginning stages of it. And I read all the reviews. I was like, I want to know more. I'm like, come on, Rick, hit me again. Right. Like people will seek you out. If you are attractive, if you have your magnetism turned on, if you have value inside of your book, and your book is like drinking a tall glass of ice water on a hot Nevada day, they're going to go looking for you. They're going to be like, Google, where can I get more?
Uh-huh.
You don't have to beat people over the head with you out. They're annoyed, right? They're not finding the value that they could find.
Oh, I missed you there, Honoree. Can you repeat that last bit?
Yes, I said if people are not finding you with all of your promotion, it's because they're annoyed, right? So
Yeah.
you want to put it enough so that they can follow the breadcrumbs, but you
Yeah.
don't need to beat them over the head with a baguette.
I think the delineation between attracting and recruiting is perfect. right? And this is the same. This is no different than the content that you want to put on social media, right?
That's right.
You're not trying to beat people over the head with buy my crap. You're trying to help people.
Correct.
And in
Ex-
helping them, you're going to attract them. And in the same, you know, you had mentioned without saying specifically, but essentially a book can help qualify future clients, right? Because people are going to get a sense of who you are. They're going to get a sense of the way that you interact, the way that you write, whether or not you have a sense of humor. Hopefully you do. And all these sorts of things, right? So again, I think there's a lot of similarities that can be drawn to social media and the way that you present yourself on social media, the type of content that you upload. If you're being helpful, if you're not taking yourself too seriously, or maybe you take yourself super seriously, and that's the kind of client that you attract. Either way,
yes.
you're qualifying your potential future clients in advance. It's
Right.
a fantastic way to, to go about things, in my opinion. I love that.
Yeah. I take my work seriously, but not myself.
There you,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you. Awesome, awesome. So where this is going to be a silly question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Where do you get most of your clients? Do you get most of your clients directly from your books? Do you get them from referrals? Both?
Um, Books,
Yeah,
podcasts, and referrals.
yeah.
So I'm the somebody referred to me as the Hitch of. Do you know the movie Hitch with Will Smith?
I know of it. I've never
Date
seen it.
doctor. He was the date doctor. Well, you have to watch it. It's a really fun movie. He teaches guys who are completely awkward and have no skills to
Uh-huh.
get the hot woman that they are desiring.
Nice.
And so he's the guy that they're like, you can't, he doesn't have a website, he doesn't have a business card, like you got to just be referral. So I that's how I get a lot of clients is they'll say, I have someone who can help you with that. And because I do have a bespoke publishing service, so I will publish someone's book for them um, for a long-term engagement and large fee. But then I also have courses too. So it just depends on, my students refer my courses. My clients refer clients to me. I have people who refer clients to me because they work with the type of clients that I work with. And then I give away a lot of books and then I sell books. So
Nice.
those are the three main things that connect me with the people that I have the honor and pleasure of working with. And I don't really do anything else. I do a little bit of social media, but
Yeah. On your website, I was checking out your website earlier today, and I noticed that you have a testimonial from Hal Elrod, which is probably going to be a name familiar to many people who are listening to this. My wife and I did Miracle Morning, I don't even know, 3, 4 years ago now.
all right.
Um, and it was very effective for our goals at the time. Um, did you help him write that book specifically, or what was your how did you work with Hal?
So Hal wrote the Miracle Morning, and then I am the co-creator of the Miracle Morning book series. So there are 12
Oh,
main books and 6 companion books, everything from the Miracle Morning for entrepreneurs, college students, salespeople,
nice.
entrepreneurs, parents and family, teachers. So they're the main books and then the companion books. So I was the co-creator for all of those books.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How do you take So this is a great one. I want to go down that path a little bit. How do
Okay.
you take an idea like the Miracle Morning, which again I'm guessing a lot of our viewers and listeners are already going to be familiar with. If you're not, go look it up and then come back. Pause this and then come back.
Mhm.
How do you take an idea like that and split it up into these different niches, right? And then turn it into
A series.
a series? Yeah.
Yeah, so there are several different ways that you can do a series. The Miracle Morning is the series process of taking an idea and applying it to a different vertical or subject area.
Mhm.
So you can take the core information that you have with a product or process and you can apply it. So you could do the Miracle Morning for dog walkers. I mean, like you could literally say, if you want to be more successful in whatever area of life that you're in, boom, you take this process and then you apply it. And then the way that we did the books was we explained the Miracle Morning again, so someone did not have to read 2 books. So it was an overview of the lifesavers, right? The 6 practices that successful people do on the
Yeah.
regular, and then sourced the best practices in a particular subject matter from a subject matter expert and got their insight. So in other words, you want to take these practices and combine them with the best practices of the person in your industry.
Hmm.
And that's how we created that book. So that is one way to do it. So you can do the book process for insert vertical or subject matter.
Yeah.
I wrote a book series called The Successful Single Mom. And so that main book was to inspire single moms to feel like they were superheroes, right? Not victims.
Yeah.
But then I turned that into a series by identifying the problems or challenges that single moms had. And then I wrote a book about each of the problems.
Hmm.
So I didn't apply being a single mom to being a realtor, right? I applied like, gee, if you're a single mom, you have children and they want to eat every day. So how do you manage all the things and cook healthy, nutritious meals that are, there's a variety.
Yeah.
How do you find love again? How do you make money as a single mom? Like I identified the challenges that I had as a single mom and wrote individual books about them. And then there's one more way, which is going on a story arc. So I wrote a series with a fiction author named Ben Hale, and we wrote the Like a Boss series. So write like a boss, publish like a boss, and market like a boss.
Hmm.
So I took the nonfiction approach, he took the fiction approach, and we took people on a journey. So if you want to write your book effectively, fiction or nonfiction, here is the beginning of that journey, ending with publishing a little bit. So there was a little bit of crossover. Then it's like, if you really want to know how to publish like a boss, how to publish professionally, read this book. And if you want to market like a boss, then you go here. So it's a series.
Uh-huh.
And then we had each of the books in all the formats and then all of the books together in one big book.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Several different ways you can do series.
This is
Yeah.
super cool. So I'm just, yeah, I'm a gigantic bookworm, and
Me too.
I'm processing all of this, and
Yes.
I'm planning my world takeover with my book series.
Excellent. I like it.
So, um, where does someone like myself, who has no shortage of ideas but also no experience, where do I begin?
Go back to the questions that we talked about earlier. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want out of a book? And then answer the questions of what do you want readers to do, not do, and the right reader to do. And then start outlining what will probably happen. I'm a little clairvoyant, is you will get the fever and you will have all the book ideas. So generally speaking, when someone goes, oh, I can do this. This is what I want to do. Then they think, oh, well, I want to write a book about this, and I want to write a book about this, and I want to write a book about this. I just helped Lucas Marino with his book, Monetize Your Book with a Course. And now he's writing a little book, course pricing strategies. So like once you pull the Band-Aid off only in a pleasurable way, right? You become an author, then you realize, oh, I have other knowledge that I would like to share with people. And where I've gotten to is I just have a production schedule. I just keep a list of books that I want to write, and I have a production schedule. And so the book that I'm writing in the morning, I have the book that I just published that I'm marketing. I have the book that I'm getting ready to publish, and I have the book that I'm writing. So I just have the books in the queue.
So you're just gonna keep going. 50 books is just your launching off point.
Yeah, every time I think that I'm done, I thought that I was done there for a couple of years. I thought I really don't have anything to say. Took a little break,
Yeah.
and then I realized I was just storing up. I was just storing up words. I was writing a little bit of fiction. I was working on other people's books. So I was using my 2 Pomodoros a day to kind of just dabble and work on some things. But I've been back in production mode now for about a year and a half. So the books are coming pretty steadily, but I want to write fiction too. And I have a bunch of fiction series that I've penciled out. And so that's a different time of day.
Yeah.
That's not my nonfiction time. You'll love it.
Do you have to enjoy writing?
Oh gosh, doesn't it help?
Would
I
think
mean,
so.
but here's the thing. Here is the thing. I enjoy it a lot more that I have become skilled at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think part of enjoying it is turning off the governor and realizing that no matter how bad of a writer you are, or how, because none of us write according to a manual of style, that's what the editorial team is for.
Yeah.
So even if someone's like, I'm not really a writer, but I can write, or I don't fancy myself a writer, but I'm just going to kind of be the cat on the typewriter and just get the words out. The editorial team is what is going to take that very bumpy ride in a
Mhm.
Prius in the Walmart parking lot, boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
Turn it into your German vehicle on the Autobahn, because that's what you want. You want the read to be pleasurable for the reader,
Yeah.
to be void of mistakes, errors, missing words, repetitive words, sentences that don't make sense, run-on sentences, missing or wrong or incomplete punctuation.
Hmm.
That's what the editor's for. I mean, like, my job is just to get the words out on paper. And then I'm like, blah, here you go, editor.
Good luck with that crap.
Peace be with you.
Two, two things come to mind. Number one, Hemingway, write drunk, edit sober. Right?
Right?
Don't think critically about yourself and the
Not.
creative output while you're writing. Just
That's
do it.
right.
Just get the crap
That's right.
out. And two is do the work. Stephen Pressfield.
Do
Just
the
you.
work. And I'll add to it, have a great team. Have a great team, because there are people for whom words are their jam. They
Hmm.
are like, I am an editor and I love it.
Hmm.
So please send me your words and I will turn them into prose. And
Hmm.
working with an editor who understands and can keep your voice, but can take out the bumps, is such a pleasurable conversation, because they send you back the manuscript. It looks like a crime scene, even 50 books in, almost 60 books in. It looks like a crime scene. It looks like my 10th grade English teacher just took their pen and was like, oh, I'm just going to throw up on the page. It still is a mess. Even though I run it through Pro Writing Aid and I run it through spell check, there's still just things that don't make sense,
Hmm.
sentences I don't complete, all those things. So having that come back and then having a conversation, well, should this go here? Does this make sense? What am I missing? That's a really fun, it's a fun process. It's like being a kid and saying, I want a pony. No, I want two ponies, one for you and one for me. And then we're going to go for a ride. We're going to take snacks. What are the snacks we're going to take? We're going to take pretzels and sandwiches and cookies. I want some Kool-Aid. We're big kids now. We can throw a little adult beverage in there. It's going to be great. Right.
Vodka
So,
Capri Sun.
yeah, right.
Sounds awful.
I think that sounds awful. And also, like, we would probably get some writing done. We would be writing drunk. Yes. But you understand what I'm saying, is it's like, it's such a fun, creative process to have creative conversations as a grown-up and writing this book. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, you're not going to do it. If you feel like you're bad at it, you're not going to do it. But if you know you're not going to be great at it and you can lean into the experts around you, then it will be pleasurable. Then it will be fun.
I think you also have to find a rhythm and a system that works for you. So for example, right, the Hemingway quote, "Write drunk, edit sober." That's not going
Yeah.
to work if you're writing at 6 a.m. Well, I mean, it might, but the rest of your day is going to be a little wonky.
Well, I don't drink, so I'd only have to get up at 5:45 to just do a, three fingers of bourbon, and then by 6 a.m. I'd be drunk. My husband would be he would get, he's not an early riser. I think he'd get up for that. He'd be like, "Oh, I got to see this. I got to see this in action right here. I'm going to videotape it."
You mentioned have a great team around you. How does someone like myself go about finding, building a great team around them? Call you.
Well, yeah, so you want only professionals.
Hmm.
Boy, I learned this the hard way. My first editor was a retired 10th grade English teacher who was not a great editor.
Hmm.
Just all the mistakes. So I look back on some of my earlier works and I'm like, nothing to see here, move along. You want to hire people who put the title that you're hiring them for on their tax return. So I would bet you have coach
Mm-hmm.
as your occupation on your tax return. So my editor puts editor. So she's not like owner of a Sonic and then edits on the side. So you want professionals, and
Nice.
this is their full-time job. This is their passion. This is what they love to do. So graphic designers, editors, proofreaders, copywriters, your entire book team needs to be professionals, and they work on books all the time. Your book is not their only book, and they are creating your book alongside you. The way you find them is you ask someone like me who does books for a living, who writes for a living, who they use. I prefer people who were trained in traditional publishing because they have a high standard. I like to use the standard of traditional publishing in terms of quality and the flexibility of independent publishing for the optimization and the monetization pieces, because you can really go all in with the content of your book. Optimizing it just very quickly is creating the author-reader relationship, which is the beginning of the book, the front matter, and the main content. And then the back matter is the maximization or monetization piece. Because like if we've optimized and we've connected as a reader, by the time we get to the back of the book, you're like, I want to know more. I want to sign up for the email list. I might want to buy something at some point. I want to develop the know, like, trust factor in a deeper way. You can't really do that through traditionally publishing because they're really focused on getting people to go to their website to publish, to present, and promote their other authors. Just a little bit different of a strategy, right?
So no, I like that. Makes sense. I like that. That's cool. You just launched a new course, a new mastermind, build a six-figure mastermind. The course, it's a course on masterminds, not a mastermind on courses.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So when I was attending the Rest in Peace Tribe conference, Jeff Goins was hosting. The kind of one of the underlying subjects of the conference was masterminds. And one of my self-proclaimed super fans said, if you had a mastermind, I would be in it. And I said, well, whatever for? And she said, well, you have an empire and I want one. And I want to learn from you. All right. So I decided to start the Empire Builders Mastermind, and I'm in my 5th year. And I've learned a lot of things in my 5 years as the host of a mastermind. P.S. I have been a part of many masterminds, free, paid, 2 days long, a year long, many years long, small group, co-ed, all the things. And a lot of people ask me, do you love having a mastermind? Yes. Should everyone have a mastermind? Oh, yes. And so what do you do? So I created that course so that people could go to the next level, right? I think I am now a mastermind host and a mentor with the side of coaching, as opposed to a coach who does a little bit of mentoring, right? So if someone is like a seasoned coach and they want to go to the next level, they may want to start a mastermind. It's my favorite thing. The people in my mastermind, the people I get to mentor with, I consider my friends. It's just a wonderful thing that I get to do. I get to mentor them to develop. Specifically, my mastermind is around creating books and then turning those books into 6- and 7-figure income streams. But then also one of those 6- or 7-figure income streams could be their mastermind. So I created the course to kind of help people to like know what to expect, how to fill the mastermind, all the technical things.
Yeah. Organize their thoughts and ideas into a system.
Yes, not unlike a book. A mastermind needs to have a purpose.
I was going to say,
get together.
The questions that you had mentioned before, what's in it for me? What do you want the reader to do? What do you want the reader to not do? I can see how these questions would also apply as kind of a framework for building that team of that group mastermind.
Yes. And so I am committed to doing it at least year 10.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's one of my favorite things. It takes up a lot of time, but it is one of the most fulfilling things that I do. I now just don't do anything that I don't love. Write books, help people write books, run a mastermind.
That's smart. I just finished for my second read. I just finished The Alchemist this morning, actually.
Paulo, Paulo Coelho.
So yeah, that's a good one. Where can people go to learn more about you, to learn more about the mastermind? What's the best place?
Honoreecorder.com is the place that starts it all. And right on the front page, you can get a copy of You Must Write a Book, the ebook.
Awesome.
Read that. And then if this seems interesting, if any of this seems interesting, get on my calendar. Let's have a conversation.
I love it. I love it. I have to ask, I get the impression that you're into books. What?
What?
Yeah,
No.
weird, right? What three books do you most recommend your friends, clients, family, whomever? What three books do you most recommend people read?
So, Psycho Cybernetics,
Love it.
the Silva Mind Control Method, and
Which
the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Uh, the Silva Mind Control Method by Jose Silva.
Oh, okay. I think I've got that. So that might be in my stack that I have not read. I will bump that to the top on your recommendation.
Yep. And the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder.
Love it. I'm not familiar with that one. Well, I only
But
got
I
one.
mean, there's so many.
Well, sure.
Michael, like, which of your children is your favorite?
I've
I
got one
mean,
I've got one human child and two dogs, and I love
right?
them all. I love them
It's
all.
yeah, it's tough, right? Because if you, I think, maybe we would just have dogs if I'd known.
I love it. Honoré, is there anything else that you would like to chat about that we did not have an opportunity to touch upon today?
But we didn't talk about you at all. I know that wasn't the purpose, but so at some point we'll have to have another conversation where we talk about you.
If you've got a podcast, I would be happy to be a guest on your podcast.
You know what I do now by default? So I started the Empire Builders Masterclass, empirebuildersmasterclass.com, which is a one-stop shop of courses for entrepreneurs.
Love it.
And that is a podcast in the making. So when that gets kind of up and running, let's have you hang out over there with Lucas Marino and myself.
I would love that. That sounds
And we'll talk about anything and everything.
awesome. Awesome. Honoree Corder, thank you so much. For those listening, it's honoreecorder.com. That's HONOREECORDER.com. You can find her on LinkedIn as well, just by searching her name. And we'll have all of these links. I'll have links to the books that we talked about. Everything will be in the show notes. Honoree, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. This has been a great conversation from one bookworm to another.
Yes, thank you so much. I so appreciated being with you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to our listeners and viewers as always. We'll see you guys next time.